Hello and welcome back to the Road to Doomsday, the MCU Rewatch podcast brought to you by the Nerd Academy podcast. I am your host and I'm your holly jolly host, Jared Bachman Stubbs, and joining me with some Budweiser product placement is the lovely Miss Taylor.
I'm representing Trevor today.
Yes, bloody hell, bloody hell. Um, yeah, we're Iron Man. It's Iron Man 3 time, a movie I forgot was very Christmassy, and then realized that when this comes out in the main feed, it will actually be appropriate for me to be dressed like this. And totally not being recorded on the 1st of October
Yep, totally
and
not.
released to the patrons on this very day as well. But yeah, happy holidays, I guess. We're on the precipice of that. It'll be Thanksgiving later this week. So who knows what other hot con is going to be hitting the channel at the same time. I'll probably be busy. We'll see. But it is not Taylor and I alone for this episode. We are also joined by Iron Man Super Iron fan, Travis Grossman.
I was gonna date us even further by doing a bit about how for Christmas I booked us a live show in Saudi Arabia.
And he's only doing this because
I'm
I
actually
just
not allowed to go.
Yeah, Taylor, you're gonna have to stay home. But
I'll be manning the home front.
Taylor
You'll be on the Zoom. We'll have like a projection behind us. You'll be on the Zoom call.
Just fully covered.
Oh man. I wear one of those skin tight outfits that they make the WWE ladies wear that are somehow even sexier than their scantily clad outfits.
Some may say.
Funny that. But we are at phase 2. We are at Iron Man 3, the final Iron Man solo movie. We'll talk about some of the details about that here in a second. I'm very excited to jump into it. But first, a brief word from our sponsors over at Sunday's Bloody Mary. Do you have a Bloody Mary drinker in your life who you just don't know what to get them for Christmas? Well, may I suggest to you Sunday's Bloody Mary, the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement in the multiverse with their 3-time award-winning spicy mix, as well as their mild and traditional mixes if the spice isn't for you. This former bartender trusts only one Bloody Mary mix, and that is Sunday's, the only mix better than a from-scratch Bloody. If you want to shake up your Bloody Mary game for the rest of your life or share something special for that Bloody Mary drinker in your life, go to sundaysbloodymary.com/shop. Use the code TNAP at checkout, TNAP, to get 10% off your order and help out your favorite nerds while you do it. Travis, Taylor, who's ready for some trivia?
I suppose we have no choice.
This one's a little lukewarm.
Iron Man 2, final answer.
The Wrath of Khan. So, question number 1. What was the original intent for the Iron Man 3 post-credit scene? Taylor, I throw to you first. Do you remember this hubbub at the time?
No. Got nothing.
Do you remember anything at all about what would have been happening at the comics around this time?
Don't remember.
Okay, Travis.
Now that you say hubbub, I feel like I'm like manifesting that I remember people talk about that, but I have no idea what it was for.
So at the time, the original intent was for Tony to take a suit into space and potentially run into the Guardians, be that him actually being aboard the Milano or seeing the Milano from a distance as kind of a tee up for Guardians of the Galaxy, because this is paying homage to the fact that Tony Stark had recently become a Guardian of the Galaxy and at the time in the comics was dating Gamora. Question number 2. This will sound familiar to Travis. In the MCU, James Rhodes becomes Iron Patriot. But what 2 geniuses in the comics where
I know that. I know one of them. It's Norman Osborn.
Okay, Taylor took my boy Norman off the board. Travis, do you know?
I remember the Dark Avengers.
Do you remember the other Iron Patriot? I will give you a hint. It is in the Ultimate Universe.
It's in the Ultimate.
Oh, mama.
You said it's a genius?
Yeah.
Does it count that I just bought a Norman Osborn card?
Half credit.
Sure.
Okay. The question makes it sound more complicated than it actually is. It's Tony Stark.
Oh, boo.
Oh.
Boo, Jared.
I know why that's a boo, Jared. It's an obvious answer, so obvious it scares you away, but it's obvious. And then our last question, kind of the limp noodle of the bunch. What comic
You're a limp noodle.
in Iron Man 3?
Say that again.
What comic storyline is loosely adapted in Iron Man 3?
I don't know what its actual name is. I just know that it's like the Extremis storyline.
It's just Extremis.
Oh,
Okay,
cool.
yeah.
That's all I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
if it's not Extremis, it ain't nothing.
Yeah, it's just Extremis. This was one of the kind of like, if I were to make a comparison from what I remember and what I understand, it's kind of the Batman year one of Iron Man stories where it's like, okay, let's either ignore or condense all of the lore up to this point and just kind of center it and simplify it because things have gotten a little ungainly. So this is where we get Ho Yinsen helping Tony after being attacked in Afghanistan. Shit.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So I remember the Extremis story as like, I haven't read it, but I remember seeing people like compare, like, oh, they actually took a lot of scenes from it with like people blowing up, and I didn't realize that was how they did the soft reboot of Tony being trapped in Afghanistan instead of Vietnam.
Yeah. So like, a lot of it was there, and like I said, it's just that very like flattening. Let's simplify things. The sliding time scale of it all. This is also where Ari Granov kind of debuted his version of the Iron Man armor that has kind of become the Iron Man armor that you can't see Tony's eyes behind the plates. It like looks more like a piece of machinery than it is this kind of like a tin suit as it used to in the comics. So like the Extremis comic arc was kind of the beginning of like how pop culture imagines Iron Man, right before the movie kind of took a lot of cues from it moving forward. But yeah, jumping into background here. Now with Disney in control of Marvel and hot off the unprecedented success of Avengers, Marvel Studios was riding high. Jon Favreau did not want to return to direct any more Iron Man movies due to a number of alleged reasons. Some of them including wanting a higher salary after the success of the first two Iron Man movies and then the Avengers. Part of it was he was kind of fed up with studio interference after Iron Man 2 and kind of a high pressure to deliver a lot of the S.H.I.E.L.D. plotline stuff. And a number of other reasons, but he was happy to kind of be. I think the quote he gave was the silly grandparent where he didn't have to change any diapers, but he got to play with the kids anyway, by still getting to stay on both as an executive producer and as Happy Hogan. Directorial duties were passed to Robert Downey Jr.'s friend Shane Black, who was known for setting movies at Christmas time and also had recently directed Robert Downey Jr. in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. The original intent was to have the true villain be revealed to be Maya Hansen, but Marvel corporate Ike Perlmutter thought merchandising would suffer from a female villain. Despite the promise of Tony Stark's return at the end of the credits, not Iron Man, it says that Tony Stark will return without a movie being named. The future of Downey's continued role in the MCU was kind of up in the air, contributing to the finality of Iron Man 3 and how it all kind of feels like the end of his story, even though we all know now in 2025 that was far from the case. Iron Man 3 had a $200 million budget and, as a back-to-back success, grossed $1.25 billion at the box office. So Marvel went 1-2 in terms of their first and second billion-dollar movies.
Wow.
Right off the heels of Avengers.
We
Again,
just had this talk recently on an episode, dating us again, that if you told me Iron Man 3 made $1 billion before we had that conversation, I wouldn't have believed you.
I feel like I still don't, but
Yeah.
I again, like, this is that like phase 2 is kind of this like I don't know. I don't know how I want to phrase this because I also like want to kind of like look back at like the discussions of the time before I say something so definitive. But I feel like emphasis on feel that Iron Man 3 and kind of the rest of phase 2 was kind of the like this was the most status quo the MCU ever felt. Where it's like
Yeah.
this is just a reality of pop culture. Is these movies are going to come out, they're going to make fuck you money and everybody's going to see them and it's going to be all we talk about and we're all obsessed with them and then we're all excited for them. And once we hit phase 3 is where the hype train hits for, oh, we're building to something huge with Infinity War. And like everything is going to change after Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2 come out. And that, like phase 1 is the holy shit it worked. Phase 2 is we're actually doing the thing. And then phase 3 was what if we can do phase 1 but on fucking crack. So yeah, that's where we are here at the onset of Iron Man 3 and at the beginning of phase 2. Taylor, you mentioned a lot of times that you vividly remember seeing this movie with your dad
I
in the
do.
theater. So tell us about that. Tell us where you
Um,
were.
I this was what was this 2013? So I'm still in high
Yes.
school. I vividly remember my dad and I going to see this movie. Brittany, my sister was probably there. But I vividly remember going to see this movie, and I remember being like so into this movie. Um,
May 3rd, 2013, by the way, just so we have the
yeah,
release date.
I remember like I know during the audio commentary I had said that during the final battle I was like, this is like the coolest thing ever. Um, and I remember like thinking that in the theaters watching it, and I thought Guy Pearce was an incredible villain. I thought he was so wildly charming, and I still do. I'm gonna double down on that. Jared was like, "Do you still think this guy's charming?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do." He's like super bad, and they're like, "He's clearly a bad guy," and I'm like, "Oh, I know. It's okay. I
It's that
know.
he's
I
creepy. It's
know."
that he's
But that's the
creepy.
thing. I don't think it's creepy. I think
I'm used to you fawning over like little fucking freaks.
Loki.
Like yeah, like a Loki or like
Quicksilver.
once you downloaded the mod to do it, once Enver Gortash got a facelift in Baldur's Gate, like you were like, okay, I can get down with Enver Gortash now that
I
he
mean,
doesn't
he
look
has to
like a
be
meth head.
hot. He can't be ugly.
Yeah, now that he doesn't look like a meth head though, you were like, oh, like
Yeah, he was
now his evil
awesome.
actions are hot.
Ugh.
Enver Gortash is a little freak.
No,
Like
no, 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 no. I'm still not like I don't. I'm not messing around with him. Like, no, no, no. However, Aldrich Killian, smash. Um,
I feel like that's not
yeah,
controversial. I
it's
feel
not. It's not.
it's not controversial to
It's
say
not.
smash on Guy Pearce. I'm just saying he is the
No, literally, when I was watching it, like rewatching it, when he in like the scene where him and Pepper are like standing in his brain, I was like, oh, 100%, double down on that smash. And like I was like, I would, it's absolutely, it's on, okay. And I like don't care. Like Jared's like, no, he's being a creep, and I'm like, no, he's not. He's being incredibly charming. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm gonna keep double downing on this point until we're at the end of the movie. And at the end of the movie, I'm like, I'm still right.
anything else on when you saw this as a child, or did
Oh
you just
yeah,
want to keep
I
defending Aldrich Killian as a hot piece of ass?
I remember my dad like I don't really care for why. We liked it probably for different reasons, I would have to assume.
Like
Um,
very likely.
I think my dad just thought it was like badass. But also when we were doing the audio commentary, I had made the comment that this was, I think, one of the first times that my dad has seen like a pretty solid representation of an anxiety disorder. And I had at a very similar time in my life been diagnosed with one, and he just never really got it. And he's like, "Oh, so that's like what's going on, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty much it." And he's like, "That sounds like it sucks." I'm like, "Yeah,
As a matter of fact,
it does, dude. It does." You got any advice? No. Okay. Well, I'm glad we had that conversation.
I love
Yeah, thanks, dude.
I mean, this is no disrespect to your father, whose house we are recording this in, but there's something really funny to me the idea of him like not quite getting it until he saw Iron Man have a panic attack, and him going, "Well, I mean, if Iron Man was freaked out,
I get it. I
like
mean, I see what's going on now.
this teenage girl, I mean, Iron Man couldn't handle that." And
No,
he flew a nuke into a wormhole. Like,
if anything, if my dad was thinking about it like that, he would have been like, "Well, this bitch ain't got nothing to deal with." Okay,
yeah.
he's having a
When's
panic
the last
attack
time
because he
she
went
flew
to
a nuke into a
space.
wormhole?
All she has is a bad home life. Uh, and my dad was
Word.
like, "Yeah, I think that I also so this was also the period of time in my dad's life where he was like really coming around on a lot of like issues, social and otherwise. So famously, my dad never completed the original Star Wars trilogy as an adult with me. Like I tried to sit him down and rewatch it, and we got through probably like 20 minutes of Return of the Jedi, and he was like, "Shut this shit down. I don't fuck with the way they're treating Princess Leia, and I'm not having it anymore. I'm done with this movie." And I was like, "Dad, like it's you just gotta." He's like, "No, fuck this shit. I'm leaving. I'm gonna leave the house. Don't turn this movie off." He's like, "I don't like what they're doing to her." So I think it was also a. I like Pepper getting her get back.
I love your dad having his like feminist arc. Because obviously I've heard the Return of the Jedi story. I love the fact that were he still around, that I would have been outwoked by Brian Nacy.
Yeah, at least that one time.
Because
I was
I
like, dude.
I'm sitting here with Return of the Jedi arguably being my favorite Star Wars movie.
No, he was like, they're not treating Princess Leia good enough for me, so then you need to shut this shit off.
And
Okay.
how do I tell that? And how do I tell that guy whose daughter I'm dating that that's my favorite movie? That
You
was the one he drew
don't.
the line at. I
You
can't.
don't. Yeah.
I mean, you have the fallback, right? Like
I
you just
have.
say Last Jedi at Thanksgiving and you're good.
I just say yeah, yeah. What a bizarro world where you say The Last Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie to avoid a fight. To avoid a fight, you say Last Jedi is my favorite. And to give the complete and to give a complete non-starter conversation of we're just going to leave it here, then I say Phantom Menace. Like that's the crazy one there. Is
Yeah.
like
Yeah, Brian never made it to that movie.
yeah, shame. I think Brian Nacy would have loved Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, I actually do too. I'm not gonna because he would have
Based
been
on
really
everything you've
racist
told me,
about it.
unironically, I think your father would have fucked with Jar Jar
Yeah, he would
heavy.
have been a little bit racist about it, but he would have absolutely loved Jar Jar Binks.
His Caribbean black accent.
He would have
Anyway,
really mimicked that act. He loved doing voices.
oh, bomb bad.
Yeah, yeah, he would have thought it was real bomb bad. Okay.
Travis, what was going on with you when Iron Man 3 came out? Like we were in proximity to each other at the time.
Right. Also in high school. This time I can confirm I was in high school.
Yes.
So we're good there. It's funny in Iron Man 2 we talked about how like people didn't like it, people were talking about the negativity of it. For me, that didn't really kick in until this movie. Because I think, like what you said, this phase 2 is like establishing Marvel as the baseline. Like this will be happening at least twice a year now, and will make just egregious amounts of money.
Yeah.
With it came the establishment of like, oh, if I talk about movies on the internet, and I can talk about Marvel and make my paycheck for the month. Now that YouTube has ads and whatever else. So I remember like this is around the time I'm actually like online seeing people's opinion. I don't have like social media or anything, but like I'm on YouTube watching any movie reviewer I can get my hands on. Talk about how Iron Man 3, most of them people I were watching were saying people really don't like how they handled the Mandarin in this movie compared to the comics because people wanted magical Mandarin.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, we barely got aliens. You think we're gonna get goddamn magic?
We barely got aliens. I mean, it's crazy you say that because, like, you again, like, it's something that's come up a lot on Road to Doomsday so far is this whole idea of like we're watching the audience's ability to kind of accept things,
Mm-hmm.
kind of that like their tolerance increase over time, and like, yeah, like you're right, like we barely have aliens, and like the magic of Asgard is very much couched in
It's
God, we
science to
don't
them and
understand
magic
the
to
yeah,
us.
so like we haven't quite like broken the sound barrier in terms of like
Right.
aliens or magic. Like we're still kind of a little loosey goosey with it. It's not like the Chitauri are alien in nature, but I made so many jokes calling the Battle of New York the Battle of Naboo because like they just shut down like robots when that ship gets hit.
Yeah.
Like that's game set match. It might as well be a droid control ship.
I think
So
that we
like
had a very pointed disagreement during.
yeah, and people have heard that discussion.
Just saying,
Um,
still wrong.
sure, but um, I don't think it was a right or wrong conversation. I thought it was just a matter of like loose interpretation. But either way, um, it's funny you say that because I don't think of it as like we barely got aliens. In my mind, it's like, oh yeah, those were fucking aliens. That was the first aliens, and now shit
Right.
just gets crazier from here. But you're right to bring that up, And I remember I was somebody who was complaining. I was like, oh, like I was kind of hoping for the Mandarin, and I was even cool with the Mandarin not being magic, just being the man. Like I was into the whole um cult of personality internet terrorist, which we'll get into. But there's a
Foreshadowing, ain't it a bitch?
there's a lot to unpack here. Weirdly, a lot to unpack here in Iron Man 3. But yeah, anyway, as you were saying, Travis.
Yeah, I just remember, and this was also the movie that like got me into caring about the source material because
Uh-huh.
again, the concept of like the extremis armor being in this movie as the Mark 42 was like, oh my god, that's the coolest shit I've ever. Like, I'm already so Iron Man pilled, and I'm like, that's the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life. How did they come up with this? Oh, there's a comic for it. Wait, in the comics right now, it bleeds out of his skin. What? Right? So
Oh, remember when we were clamoring for that, and then the internet turned on that idea immediately? Um,
what do you
Good
mean it's
time.
gotta be CGI? They can't make it really bleed out of Robert Downey Jr.'s skin.
We
No, no, apparently not. But no,
just
I
haven't
mean,
advanced that far yet.
but yeah, I remember seeing this. I was in eighth grade. I saw this is. I'm pretty sure this is my first opening night Marvel movie.
I
Like
don't
I
think
was
I got it
pretty.
opening night. I was the week of, I think.
I think most of the Marvel movies up to this point, I was opening weekend. I was opening weekend, but I think this is the first time I went opening night. Both of you have been to this theater at this point, that little Latrobe theater, Latrobe Cinemas, with the two little rooms and the desk chairs and sticky tables that my lovely Nana is convinced is the most comfortable seating she's ever had for a movie.
She just misses those movies that they would have at school. Okay, she just does. She misses when they throw it on the projector. Okay,
I one of these days we're gonna have to kidnap her and like take her to the IMAX at the waterfront,
she
just so
ain't
she
sitting
could
through that
get,
drive.
huh?
She ain't sitting through that drive. She's gonna call the police on us for kidnapping.
I just hate that she's like, oh, I'm sitting in a desk chair and I got brought a lukewarm chicken wrap to eat with my movie. This is the height of cinema. I'm like,
You
oh,
know,
they do so much more. but what makes you happy, I guess. But no, I remember seeing this there. I knew that there was talk on the interwebs about how it was kind of up in the air as to whether or not RDJ would be how much more he would be playing Iron Man. I remember
How
that was like a
funny
big
that
sticking point.
conversation being had.
That conversation is so fucking funny. That whole because everything was this might be it for Downey. Everything was this might be it for Downey because he kept from this point being signed back. If I remember correctly, he kept getting signed back on individually for pictures. Like this was either the end of his first contract that had him for like 3 or 4 that he would have hit from like Iron Man 2,
Oh my
Avengers
god, do you remember
3.
the counting of the contracts and like what would count, what didn't count, what
Oh yeah.
counted as far as like post credit scenes and
Yeah. Yeah, that was a whole thing because we all were like, "Oh, how long are they going to be around for?" Like, because again, like this type of like multi-plan thing, this was unheard of at the time.
to this
You
scale,
know,
absolutely.
to this scale, exactly. Like,
To this scale, 100% has never been done before.
so yeah, everybody's like counting projects, and it's like, okay, like who's going to get re-signed and when and for what thing? I don't.
And for how much, honestly, I think that was a huge discussion too. It was, are we? It's the same thing that I think every couple years we get into with the sport, like athlete dialogue, like how much are these people getting paid compared to like what their like actual work output is. And I think like I vividly remember it being such a thing for Chris Hemsworth because he showed up in some end credit scene or post like or I know he did one for when he missed Civil War was whenever he did one of those little short specials. And we were like, oh my god, does this count as one of his like does this count towards the picture deal? Because they were so loose in nature.
Yeah. So I mean, granted, take for this what you will. The first thing I saw was on Reddit.
The
Honestly,
most accurate source of information you can get on the internet.
compared
Reddit.
to a lot of other websites we've seen before.
Fair. So this is the escalation here. Okay. I say escalation. This does kind of like go back and forth a little bit. So Iron Man, 500,000. Iron Man 2, 10 million.
What are we counting right now? I'm just saying numbers.
This is just his salary
Got
per movie. So Iron Man, 500,000. Iron Man 2, 10 million. Avengers, 50 million. Iron Man 3, 25 million. I believe some of this is like also him like getting like box office off the top. Age of Ultron, another 50 million. Civil War, 15. Spider-Man Homecoming, 5 million. And both Infinity War and Endgame, he made $75 million.
That sounds
So
right.
like
I remember
but like
hearing
that
150.
be nice?
yeah. But I remember like it was a whole thing where okay, this is the Google AI interview and it's citing IMDb. RDJ's Marvel contract history. Well, fucking AI slop. Um, okay, it's not getting into the specifics of like everything, but like I know he had to keep renegotiating, and it became a thing that it was like we don't know how much longer he's going to be doing this role, and like every couple years there was that conversation about like, oh, how long does Evans want to do this for? How long does Hemsworth want to do this for? Does Johansson want to do this for? Ruffalo, but like everybody kept floating around that like I don't know how long I want to do this for. And granted, they kept doing it for another fucking decade, but then power
Yeah.
to them.
And
Nothing wrong with that.
Nowadays we have the standardized 6-picture deal they seem to throw at everybody.
Just to have their bases covered.
Yeah. Tom has mentioned it a bunch. Kumail Nanjiani apparently also got a 6-picture deal for Eternals.
Yeah.
Funny that. I
Marvel
Yeah.
Studios, get to work. We need Kingo now.
We
More
need another
Kingo.
5 movies.
Yeah, you got him
We
banked
need
up for
5 new
5 more.
Kingo projects.
Come on, you got to get it working, dude. You're gonna fall behind real quick here.
He can't have those muscles for much longer. He's in his 40s.
But there was also like, I don't remember though if you guys remember this. Remember that there was that movie that came out. It was like The Judge or The Judge's Son.
The judge. It was the judge.
It was The Judge. It was like Downey's like first post Iron Man role that wasn't
Yep.
like caught up in the midst of like hopping around between MCU projects. And I remember when The Judge did not do great either at the box office or with critics. A bunch of people went, "Oh, okay, so he's going to be Iron Man forever." And I remember there was like people like rooting against The Judge in a really unfortunate way. But it was like around the phase 2 time where it was like, well, who knows how long we get Iron Man for? You know, The Judge bombed. Hell yeah. I liked it, but I was 13 and I was like, hey, that's Iron Man. But so okay. A lot to unpack with this movie, like I said. Do we want to talk about the War on Terror or do we want to talk about A Christmas Carol?
I feel like we should go with A Christmas Carol first because I feel like I have more. I feel like I don't know. Do I have anything to say about the War on Terror?
It was good and nothing bad happened.
Yeah, for sure that.
Because everything goes great when we go to War on Nouns.
Yes. Like the War on Drugs, famously went super well. Definitely
We're lighting that one back up.
Definitely did not destroy numerous families and countless inner cities throughout America.
Or a boat off the coast of Venezuela full of civilians.
And, you know.
And that was last month.
And that was a month ago. So, okay, we'll start with The Christmas Carol. I know that the debate over what is and isn't a Christmas movie is something that is like it's one of those conversations that's kind of gotten old over the years.
Jared thinks any movie with a Christmas tree is a Christmas movie.
That's not necessarily true.
Valid.
You're not wrong, but that's not
if it
necessarily
has a Christmas
true.
tree in that movie, that's a Christmas movie.
But I remember Iron Man. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I know, like tangentially, like Iron Man 3 happens around Christmas time. I forgot how often Christmas came up in the movie.
No, it's like in like early December. It feels.
Yeah. Well, it ends on Christmas Eve.
Oh shit.
Because the Mandarin says all of this will be over by Christmas morning.
Oh shit.
And Tony says it's Christmas, Rhodey. You know, take him to church with the Jarvis stuff. Like it's, you know, like the vice president is at a Christmas party.
That is true.
When when he's on the phone.
Famously, Jenna Ortega's dad.
Yes. I was gonna put that in the trivia, and then Taylor pointed out that was Jenna Ortega in the audio commentary, and I was like,
who
"Well,
had lost her leg."
There goes the only trivia question I had in the chamber before writing the show notes. But so a little bit of like cross plugging, especially since if you're watching this in the main feed, tis the season. We last year our KNR holiday special was an episode with friend of the show Alden Diaz talking about why Obi-Wan Kenobi is actually a Star Wars Christmas story. And it's one of my favorite episodes we did in the year of 2024, and I highly recommend everybody go back and watch that after you're done with this. But you know, we were talking a lot about how the Obi-Wan Kenobi show had a lot of parallels with A Christmas Carol, and I didn't think about it that way, and it kind of like opened my third eye, and I couldn't help while we were watching the movie. I didn't bring it up because I don't want to get in the weeds and like get distracted from the movie by trying to parse it out there. That like,
plus I'll just ignore him by accident.
Yeah, because Guy Pearce is being a creep and it's hot to you for some
hot.
reason.
It's not creepy at all. It is hot.
But I kind of had a moment. I was like, oh, this is also very Christmas Carol. Like there's some, you know, like there's some Christmas past, some Christmas future, some Christmas present. Kind of, you know, like Tony's being haunted, you know, like all of the extremist shit is basically the ghost of Christmas past.
Yes.
Like it is everything Tony was everything wrong about Tony that is still carrying into today.
Yeah,
You
well, that would be
know,
like Maya Hansen. Like she would be the ghost of Christmas past.
yeah. I mean, Killian as well in many ways. Like,
See, I would say he's more of a ghost of Christmas future. He is what could become if this is not.
and see, I'm so glad you're already taking it in that direction because that's what I love is that there's so many different directions to take this. Right? Is that like you have the past. You could argue that Harley is like a Tiny Tim type character. This kind of like little boy who sees the best in Ebenezer Stark, and is like trying to bring that out of him. But yet it's just so much like this theme of like
Can't believe you call that kid Tiny Tim.
um that's the kid's name in A Christmas Carol, right?
No, I know. Yeah, but I just can't believe you called that kid Tiny Tim.
Yeah, but he's the
So
Tiny
like he's
Tim.
so great.
No, Harley's a fucking awesome. He's awesome, but
saying he's not some sickly little boy.
oh no, but like he represents that like childlike innocence that is
Yeah, I
like
know. I'm just busting your
percolating
chops.
around. But I really do love that element, and it was something that we kind of came down on, Spencer Alden and I, last year with the Obi-Wan Kenobi version of this conversation, where it's like some of the best Christmas stories. One thinks of Christmas Carol, one thinks of It's a Wonderful Life, and there's this like it's Christmas, and because of that, extraordinary circumstances beget extraordinary outcomes. Of like you're in a really specifically tight squeeze right now. We're gonna cosmically do you a favor, and it's gonna change you forever. And it's that kind of rebirth that comes out of that, right? Like with Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's Obi-Wan like making peace with the fall of the Republic, and his role, and him forgiving himself and accepting he's not inherently responsible for Darth Vader's existence, and being reborn into what we see in A New Hope, right? And obviously George Bailey, Ebenezer Scrooge, like that. There's a through line there that then leads us here to Tony Stark, where it's like this felt like the last step on Tony's journey to really becoming a different person, and accepting that like he cannot actually control the world around him. Now granted, he's going to backslide and he's going to make mistakes
Pretty
where we're going to
famously.
realize he didn't for the plot.
For the plot.
Where we're gonna realize he didn't fully learn that lesson, but
He learned like
this
12% of the lesson.
I'd say he learned about 45% of a lesson. Listen, an Infinity Stone will make you do crazy things if you think you could protect the world, but like I think it's Tony like letting go of his how do I put this? It's Tony letting go of his like super ego. Where like it's him letting go of it being the Tony Stark show. And it's him like paying the piper for like the last of the sins of the past. And now granted that this informs how tragic Age of Ultron will inevitably be, where, he's tempted with power. Honey, you just got to last a few more weeks and you can empty the clip, I promise. I promise you can go ape shit on that movie when we get to it.
Okay.
Every time I bring up the Age of Ultron, I hear the sound of a verbal machine gun loading every time, and and her eyes turn yellow a little bit, and I'm like, oh, no. Not yet.
No, wait.
But it makes Age of Ultron more tragic because he's given the opportunity to try to not build a weapon, and he can't help himself because because this time he thinks he's doing the right thing. This time it is about protecting people. It's not about causing chaos, and he still does the wrong thing, even though this time he's convinced he's doing it for the right reasons. It makes it all very tragic. But like here, where this movie ends, it's very. It feels like it does feel like a Christmas story. He's given the miracle of no longer having to live with the arc reactor. Like that is beautiful. Like that's a Christmas miracle. That is the Christmas miracle. And I did not realize that this movie does have a lot of like Christmassy themes. This feels like how Taylor thinks I think of Christmas movies. That's what I thought of. This was like, oh, there's a Christmas tree in a couple scenes, therefore it's Christmassy. But there are Christmas themes, and now it is a Christmas movie in my opinion. But I throw to either of you guys on the Christmas movie theme as I stand up to turn on my fan.
You go. I go. Who goes first?
There's a Santa Village with lights, baby. It's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I can sense that the movie is supposed to take place around Christmas. Despite the fact that the movie came out in May. That was
Them's
a
the
pretty big
breaks.
L for the movie. Let's be serious.
That is true. Yeah.
Because it made it seem like watching that movie in May is like, what the fuck? Kind of missed the margin here by 6 months, maybe.
Yeah. It is weird that like Marvel never had Christmas not weird, I guess, but like they never had Christmas releases.
I feel like nobody was taking that big swing until Star Wars came back. Like to my memory, that like there weren't like shut the fucking world down box office blockbuster like blowouts at Christmas time until The Force Awakens. At least that's how I remember it.
I think the curve, like, I'm sure they thought it wasn't worth it because like movies were still coming out on Christmas, but it was like the people going to the movies on Christmas are people likely not celebrating Christmas.
Yeah, so why put a Christmas movie out in theaters for Christmas on Christmas when the people who would see this are going to at home?
Yeah, you aim for mid to late November or very beginning of December to get your box office worth out of it. But I mean, no, you're right. Because I mean, like once we hit like December of 2015, like that's when it started. Because you hit December of 2015, you get Force Awakens, and then Rogue One, and then Last Jedi, and then Aquaman.
Famously huge Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Because Disney thought it was a good idea to put Solo up against Deadpool 2, Incredibles 2, and Avengers Infinity War. Never going to get over that. Then Rise of Skywalker, and then 2020. I don't remember if anything came out in December of that year. But then
I don't
probably not, but
I don't think Marvel, to my knowledge, has never had a December release until
Spider-Man Homecoming or No Way Home.
You're right. That was a December release.
That was 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, they've had exactly one.
Yeah, and then Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Yeah, right. That's why the date move for Doomsday was so shocking to me. It was like, all right, they're going for it.
I get to this day so glad they did. I did not want that shit having to share a month with Mando and Grogu. It scares the bejesus out of me. What could have happened there? Oh, not the point, not the show. But yeah, it comes out in May. It's weird, it's a summer blockbuster. It's also a Shane Black thing. Almost all of his movies take place at Christmas,
which is a weird niche to have, but okay.
But it's like takes place at Christmas. Like again, it's been a long time since I've seen Lethal Weapon, but I don't think of Lethal Weapon as a Christmas movie. Now, if you were to watch Lethal Weapon tonight, I might go, ooh, Christmas.
Like the main Christmas plot is the Christmas party.
No, that's Die Hard.
Oh shit. Whatever.
But that's the other infamously Christmas movie, not a Christmas movie debate.
Never stop blowing up as a Christmas D&D actual play. So
there you go.
This is true.
Does not take place on Christmas.
Also, Unsleeping City.
Yes.
That one actually is.
That one actually is
a famous Christmas story.
But yeah, so there's all of that, and yeah, I just wasn't anticipating to actually walk away like feeling like Christmassy feelings last night. Like last night when I was posting up the audio commentary and making the thumbnail for this and doing a couple other like production edit things. Um, when I opened Spotify on my laptop, my finger like trembled over my Christmas playlist for a brief moment, and then I
Bad
looked
news
at the
for me.
clock and I said, and I looked at the clock and I said, it is spooky season in 20 minutes. Chill.
We both know
I
Christmas starts in August, my friend.
I know that is the time old debate between Travis and I, is that he's always trying to seduce me to the Christmas music in November side of the force, and I
Christmas music
reject.
in August, baby. That first Christmas tree comes off the truck. It is Christmas season.
Walmart did
No.
permanent damage to his head.
That is actually medically accurate.
But yeah, so okay. Congratulations, Taylor. We did the fun part first, and now we have to have the kind of heavy, bizarre conversation. Um,
Yay!
wow, this movie grappled with the war on terror way more than the first one.
Or the second.
So
Yeah, second,
you can
second
see
doesn't touch it at all.
you
I
can
will
see
say
the
what I said.
timeline.
The second does kind of kiss the arm, the I'm gonna blow up people of it all.
You can see the
I'm gonna
because here's the
blow
through
up.
line. They're making the first one while Bush is still in office. So like he can just drop into a random city in Afghanistan, mow down
And that's totally cool.
right. That's totally
The
fine.
the ethnically ambiguous 10 rings,
Yes.
who are very multiculturalist, with a Mongolian flag, who all speak Hungarian. We just recorded episode 0, so all of this is fresh.
You get to Iron Man 2 where he stops war in the Middle East or whatever.
Yeah, he's
Because
private.
Obama just got elected.
Yeah.
We
He's
don't have to
privatize world peace.
right. And now Obama realized that there was no stopping the complex, and we're just going to keep bombing Yemen. And now we're back to Iron Man 3.
Well, what I think is really compelling is that, like, there's something kind of uncomfortably poignant about the the thoughts this movie has on the war on terror, because a lot of it is oh hey, look at like all these people we put in the meat grinder who
Mhm.
just have nothing left when they come home.
Honestly,
Like,
I don't even want to work here. I don't even like the people. They're really weird.
love that guy. R.I.P. Ponytail.
No, that's not Ponytail. Ponytail
I know.
was
I'm just
dead at that time.
I'm just mentioning. So I said R.I.P. Ponytail because the guy you're talking about doesn't die. But like when you look at all the extremists, like super soldiers,
Mm-hmm.
like it's all of these like wounded vets. It's all of these people who like come home and they're either dealing with a traumatic outside wound or a traumatic inside wound,
Or
and
both.
or both, and
Likely both.
Most
likely
of the
both,
time,
likely both. If you have the outside, you definitely have the inside. But like you just have all of these people who are coming home. They got put through this meat grinder. They were disposed of. They had nothing left. The only place they can turn to is like the other end of the military industrial complex that then chews them up and spits them out and destroys them entirely. Um, I think there's also something to be said here that, like, I didn't have a chance to really do a deep dive on this, but Travis, you and I know a decent amount about this. Like, I can't watch this and not think of a lot of the vets who came home and began to dip their toe into domestic terror.
Foucault's boomerang, baby.
It's Foucault's booming,
Mm.
and there's and the way that it kind of trickles all the way up to the top, and that there is this sense of, oh, look at these people who got used and their justifiable rage, and you juxtapose it with, well, how do they react? Well, who stands to benefit from intervening and giving them means to react? Enter AIM and Aldrich Killian. And then you get this like I said to Taylor in the audio commentary, you know, Aldrich Killian is a prescient feeling fucking villain in 2025.
Yep.
Like,
He's
like jokes
once
aside
again.
about Guy Pearce being hot with his dragon tattoos and shit,
Hot, so
like
hot.
that like a a a gajillionaire who is directly profiting off of these broken, left behind veterans, who is doing his best to get a military contract, who is like directly involved of acts of terror, and is just all about this Malthusian, many people will die to usher in a greater tomorrow. Like Aldrich Killian feels like Peter fucking Thiel.
Yeah,
There's no two ways about it. Like Aldrich Killian feels very Peter Thiel
it
in
it
2025.
is it is something to be said that once again the Iron Man movies push the idea that these evil tech billionaires are actually intelligent, and I like from the scientific sense, right? None of them have ever invented anything except ways to make us all suffer. Um, but because like you take the goofiness of Pete Hegseth almost masks the fact that they just called in all of our generals and told them to fight the enemy within.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Says the guy that can't do a pull up.
In war ravaged Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
Deeply unserious. But no, like it's but like you're right, like the Hegseth of it all, like we're doing these like big, like flowery monologues where we want to like, drape ourselves in the flag of both the United States and a fictionalized Rome. Um but like so like there's some of that here with Killian too. But I can't hear him talk about what he wants to do to the world and not hear like that interview that was done recently with Peter Thiel, where he was like, do you want the human race to continue? And Peter Thiel takes a beat, and the person
Mhm.
interviewing him went, I just want to remind you, the question I asked was, do you want to see the human race continue? As Peter
Yeah.
Thiel continued to think. And I can't in 2025, I can't see Aldrich Killian talk about, I'm gonna turn a bunch of disabled vets into bombs so I can false flag assassinate the president with like the most theatrical way of, burning him alive in oil,
Mm-hmm.
as like as some type
As
of,
the star on the Christmas tree.
as the star in the Christmas tree,
Mm-hmm.
you know like shit.
Totally normal thing to
And
do.
not think of, again, like Peter Thiel, but also
This movie brought
uh
to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Yeah, right.
Jesus. Oh shit, what's his fucking name? Travis, help.
Which
The
one?
that bizarro philosopher that Peter Thiel's obsessed with.
Oh my god, I listened to those episodes.
I had it and I lost it. Hold on. I'm pausing the recording for a second while I look. I hope it came back just in time for Taylor to say this is the only thing that's behaved in the house. She's referring to Fat Kitty, audio listeners.
That's all she
Uh,
does.
big ass, big ass
Hell
kitty
yeah.
That's not
cat.
all he does. He does not only do that.
But in our time, I figured I would Curtis Yarvin. It's Curtis Yarvin.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I like it's the Curtis Yarvin. Like all we have to do is elect one dictator CEO and it'll fix the world. And it's like that's Aldrich Killian's whole fucking worldview, man. And like I said, like it's just
And
it
he
feels
can be the one sexy guy in charge of everything.
sure, honey.
It's
And it
like the lizard. Why I like him so much. He's like the lizard.
even Richard had to tap out on that one.
His arms grow back. It's
Yeah.
exactly the same.
So what would you prefer? Everybody gets turned into a lizard, or everybody gets extremis?
Do I have to go to work if I'm a lizard?
Well, if we turn into a lizard society, I guess the world continues as is, but we're all lizards now.
Mm,
But extremis, you
At
probably
least,
explode.
at least
no,
then we all survive global warming.
or we all don't for sure survive because we'll die and we'll be cold blooded. Um.
Just go to the parts that, as it warms up, more the Earth unlocks for us. That's all.
Okay. Listen, I think genuinely because not everybody would die with extremis. Okay, but
A lot of fucking people will.
I think we would all be happier as lizards.
Probably.
I think we would be happy. I genuinely do think we would be happier.
Do you know how much I could fuck with people by climbing on the ceiling?
Do you know how much I would not go to like I just wouldn't I'd be done working. Like I'm a lizard now, so like I can go forward for my own like I'm good. I'm signing off society. I'm gonna go do lizard shit. I'm literally like it's literally this spider. Like, why would you could use this power to save people and cure cancer? And it's like I don't wanna. I just want to turn everybody into dinosaurs.
Your mind is just a rainbow prism of wonder, and I love you so much.
I'm just saying. I think I've connected these two dots. Okay,
You
I've
sure
connected
have.
the dots.
You sure have.
I get it. I get it now. They're the same guy to me. In my
But
heart.
yeah, Curtis Yarvin is the villain of Iron Man 3. And it's very prescient and it's distractingly so. Um, I do want to talk about the suits in this movie. Um, I said this in the audio commentary. Sound off in the comments. I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I hate the color swap on the Mark 42. I
He said this
visceral.
so many times.
I think it looks like ass.
This is not a hot take. I think this is like generally the popular take. I don't mind it, but it is like the gold isn't gold enough and there's just too much of it.
Thank you. It stops looking gold because
Yeah.
there's so much. I don't know if it's a different shade than the other suits
It's definitely a different shade.
because it looks more
The
like
other golds were much more rich. They were much more like a jeweler's tone gold. This
Yeah.
is like if you like this is like iPhone has gold on the back now version of gold. Like where it's super washed out and it's
Yeah.
not like it's just not there.
it's
It's like 2% of gold.
there's like a very specific. I'm not going to be able to find it. There's a very specific color code, like color name Nike uses for this exact shade of yellow, and I've never liked this shade of yellow. It's like it's not. I know it's not. I know it's not maize because that is also richer for Nike. But like whatever it just doesn't look right. It looks washed out, and like it's just like the color swap doesn't look right. Where there is that yellow against the red. I just think it looks
It's
like
just too
hell.
it's too pale. It's too washed out.
But honestly, I think if it was as gold as the normal
That's what I
suits
mean. The
look,
gold is too washed out. Like
but I'm
it's
saying
too it's almost white.
if it looked like the normal shade, I think it would have looked worse.
Hmm.
I just don't like those inverted colors. It just does not work for me. It looks good on the posters. It looks good when it's battle damaged as hell. Like that's when this suit looks good to me. Like when you look at the poster and like you can see so much of like the little servos and the wires and and shit like on Tony's gauntlet. Like the main theatrical poster I remember that came out. I'm going to see if I can save this image and throw it on screen if it's the right file. Holy shit, it is. This is like I remember seeing this poster first and being like, "Ooh, I'm kind of into that." But like seeing it like in the movie intact, just again like the weird color choices, I'm just not super into it. The other suits, however, I love all of the the suits during the house party protocol. But here, the poster I'm talking about is loading in. This also might be absolute Eli quality, so we'll see. But like that, like when again when it's battle damaged and falling apart, that shit looks
Yeah.
tight.
It's the thing is, it looks like he's wearing armor, like in a thing of any armored show when they're like, we're sending in the extras, and a thing comes down and goes over top of the armor that they're already wearing. That's what
Yeah,
it looks like, and it doesn't look great.
that's a really good way of putting it.
I
That's
pulled
a
up
really
just
good way of putting it.
like random images, and it's like on all of them because you know the red's supposed to be the dominant color. So then
Yeah,
it's like the gold looks like it's extra plating on top of that,
Hmm.
which like then
Could be
kind of makes
cool.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like based on how he puts it on, does kind of like
Work.
make that part. Yeah, it makes make sense a little more. Um, he's also barely ever wearing the full suit at any given
yeah.
time, which was also a big complaint when this movie came out, is that he had to like do things as Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Which I didn't mind, because like the whole
I loved
movie's
it.
leading towards like him. The whole movie is leading towards like I am, like the meaning of I am Iron Man, right? When he says it at the end of Iron Man 1, it is kind of that like I am, this thing is me kind of thing. And the I am Iron Man, I think, kind of starts to exemplify, kind of like this overarching theme that like Tony is using the Iron Man persona as a coping mechanism. He
Mhm.
is using it as a crutch. He is leaning on it so that he does not have to grapple with who
Reality.
he is. Yes, reality, the world around him as it is now, who he is now, who he has become, and what the world is turning into. Because he can literally put on a suit of armor and just drown it all out and feel a sense of kind of futile control over the world through this suit of armor. And it empowers him. And that I am Iron Man at the end of the movie, I think is like, even though it's all the same words, it has a completely different meaning.
Hmm.
Is that I have become Iron Man. I have accepted the world as it is around me and my role in it, as opposed to I am Iron Man to protect myself from a scary world, right? And I think that's really beautiful, and I think that is go again. I think like this point right here is going to define Tony for the rest of this story.
Well, it's not him.
Is
It's no longer him saying, I am this character. This character, like, he is me. Me and him are the same. So, like
yeah,
in the Avengers, when he is talking to Bruce and he's like, well, this thing saved me and now it's part of me. Well, you don't need to be saved. Like, he is not your savior. Like, he is, he's a guy and he just also happens to be capable of all of these things. And it's, I think, for the first time for Tony being able to be like, no, wait, like, it's not that I'm the shit, but like, I get where my place is now.
yeah,
I see where I'm supposed to sit in the greater scheme of things.
yeah. There's an acceptance that comes with it that like is very cyclical, and that cyclical nature, like we've talked about so many times already, is the tragedy of Tony Stark. Like it's beautiful, but it's also tragic. That like his everything about him is this cycle of you know the world fundamentally changing before him adapting to it, him trying to do the right thing but making a horrible mistake in the process, recovering from it, and then the world changes around him again. Like this is him back at the beginning of the cycle. And his horrible mistake he's about to make is going to be Ultron, which is going to fundamentally change him as a person, which will make him make the mistake of backing the Sokovia Accords the way he does, and you know a lot of that is Steve, and we'll talk about it when we get to Civil War, because I do think Civil War is a lot more nuanced in the movies than it is in the comics. But like it's that whole like Tony keeps finding himself at odds with this purpose he found here, you know, And there's a centeredness that he has that keeps being kind of wrenched away from him. And when he tries to find it both for himself and the world, it comes with dire consequences. And it's just this vicious cycle that Tony will never be able to escape. And, you know, it's heavy, like there's a lot to that. Taylor, you're more of the mythologist than I am. I don't want to go to Sisyphus because it seems lazy. I know you've made an Odysseus comparison on episode 0.
Well, I also did the Achilles and Patroclus for Cap and Bucky,
Yeah,
which is very near and dear to my heart. Okay.
I just didn't
Um,
bring that one up because they aren't here yet. But
but I I see a lot of Sisyphus. I mean, I get exactly where you are in that narrative with him. I think that there is a hubris that Tony has and loses throughout this and previous Iron Man films that I think really does show the genuine growth for him. Um, because at the end of the day, he cannot like the ego is what is truly untenable for him. Moving forward, interacting with other people, interacting with other characters, interacting with a greater narrative. It is that, learning to be a part of a collective, um, rather than him as an independent. And I think that's one of the benefits to not having a later Iron Man, like an Iron Man 4. I think
yeah,
that's a lot of the benefit to not having additional solo Iron Man films is because I think it shows that end result of him understanding that his role in the world is not as simple as what as simple as it just being him. Um, and I think throughout the later development of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you get more of the um, self-destructive nature of his need to save the day, um, and how detrimental that is also. Like it's one of the it is a it's a very it's a roller coaster. It's an up down. It is no matter how far up that hill he's going to get the ball, or he's going to start it back at the bottom again tomorrow. You know.
absolutely. And I think that what sets it apart, so tragically, again, looking forward in the timeline a little bit, is like where he ends here. You know, when Tony creates Ultron, it's not. I don't think it comes from a place of arrogance. I what makes it so tragic is that he sincerely thinks he's doing the right thing.
No, the problem is the arrogance comes in giving it consciousness. Like the
Yeah,
arrogance is thinking that you have outsmarted something that is inherently,
unknowable.
yeah,
Well,
that's the arrogance there.
I mean, we talked about it before, with like Reed Richards, like that kind of quiet egomania of Reed Richards of like he knows he is the smartest man on the planet, and therefore because of that, he holds himself to a standard that is borderline psychotic. And
Well,
Reed
Tony feels the need to do it the same way.
exactly, and again, it's like because Reed doesn't walk in dick swinging like an earlier Tony would. But Reed has a quiet arrogance to him that creates these problems. Reed isn't bragging about being smarter than everybody. Reed doesn't
I feel like
think
it's less
less of the
quiet.
people around him.
I there is. I think there are some. I think that there is some room for disagreement. Not in the read that we have been presented as in the larger MCU, but I think that that is part of. I think that is part of all of these great like Marvel genius scientists is that a huge and main part of their own downfall every single time is their
Oh
own ego.
yeah. Oh yeah, from
Um,
Pym to Richards to Stark. It's all a
it's
lot.
never
it's little men playing God with varying degrees of hubris and like
And the only time that I think that we actually get like somebody who is considered in Marvel to be a genius who doesn't fall into that exact trope is Spider-Man.
yeah,
That's the only one.
yeah, because he doesn't have the means to do insane
Yeah.
shit like Richards and
As it,
Stark and Pym.
as it turns out, money is evil.
That like I think that is, and again, like that's how where did the MCU begin? Obadiah Stane wanting to sell Tony up the river.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it's so tragic. It's just like Tony's character is just so melancholic and so bittersweet,
It,
and kind of like his solo story ending here the way it does, like it does in 2025. It leaves you feeling very wistful, because it's like, oh man, like you could have
he,
retired here. But then what?
he,
What happens if you're not there for Thanos? Like what happens if
yeah.
you're not? Like you just open up that what if can of worms that, like, who knows how much worse it could have been if he wasn't there to personally experience absolutely soul shattering trauma. It's the arms race, man. It's
Things
it's the
happen the way they are meant to happen.
it's Tony's arms race, and it's never gonna get better for him, and it's so sad. But it's beautiful as well. But yeah, but I did want to say, the final fight in this, um,
Oh, I
I
loved the other suits. I thought they were so nifty. I like the little lobster one. Beep beep beep. Clamp. The clamp. Futurama. Give him the clamp.
um, Heartbreaker suit looks so good. I forgot how good it looks in this movie. I think that was a personal favorite of mine. I think one of the funniest kills in the movie is not the clamp one, but the one that had the drills that like popped
Like,
up the two extremis
yeah.
soldiers, and then another suit came through and took them out of the fucking air.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was fun to watch. But yeah, this final fight rules. I think it's the best fight in the Iron Man trilogy, like hands
Yeah,
down.
I would have to agree. I mean, I
I'm
don't.
so partial to the Iron Man Ironmonger fight, but I do remember kicking my feet like a schoolboy.
Yeah.
Like this was also, I think this was just kind of foreshadowed because, like, Tony graduates to being the centerpiece of the MCU. Not that he wasn't already, but like his story arc graduates from one encompassed in his own movies to being the MCU's story arc,
Yeah,
right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like kind of the level up. He gets
And
another 3 movie arc that just happens to be 2 Avengers movies and a movie that should have been an Avengers movie.
yeah.
um, but the like the foreshadowing in that being that, like, we're never going to have the time to explore all of the different Iron Man suits, so we're going to just
Just gonna dump them on you right now.
yep.
yeah,
Here's the classics, baby. We
yeah.
thought, remember the one that we thought was a Hulkbuster, but clear
Yeah.
it was like,
And it was
oh,
just
I
the one
guess
that
not.
like it used to like the
Like
the one with the back
giant-
braces. Yeah.
Yeah.
I again I vividly remember seeing this in theaters, not just because Aldrich Killian is fine, but because of the end battle, and I was like, this shit fucking rocks. And I genuinely think that, like, and again, I like the first two Iron Man movies at like as in my youth. Um, I grew farther and further. I think I grew. Let's be serious. I grew very far away from the MCU after they did very specifically somebody so dirty. Nobody who needs to be mentioned. Jared told me to stop that. Um,
I didn't say shush. I just don't want you to run out of ammo for when we do the episode that's going to be
and so like
hilarious.
I got so drawn away from it. Rewatching this, I was like, no, this shit fucking rocks. Like this end battle rocks.
It does. Hold on. I'm trying to find like a full list of the armors that are in Iron Man 3. It looks like there was like a kids book that was just a full list of them.
That makes
Well, we have
So
the
sense.
we
clamp.
have
The clam.
the clamp. So we have Mark 1, Mark 42, suborbital suit, Silver Centaurian suit, which I had a crowd pop for, stealth suit, which was the Mark X5, was it Mark 15? I'm having I'm struggle bus with these Roman numerals.
You said
Uh,
XV? Yeah, it's 15.
yeah, 15.
Yeah, that's 15.
Black stealth
X5.
suit, X5, but I didn't realize I said
X5, the forgotten X-Men movie.
listen, y'all. If it's in a Star Wars movie, I know what the Roman numeral is, and I know V is 5. I know it's V5. And then we had the black stealth suit, which was the Mark 16. So Mark 15 and Mark 16 were two different stealth suits, which is funny because Harley suggests that,
Mm-hmm.
and
But
Tony
if you're
kind of
wearing
like,
a stealth suit.
and then but like Tony explains exactly how it would work. He's like, yeah, I should do that, and he already did. Uh, Heavy lifting suit, the Mark.
Hit
Say
us
the
with it.
letters.
Give us some letters.
XXX7 or XXX8.
That's
So no, that's the
38.
Mark 108. It's
That's
38.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm counting the X's. Okay, great. Okay, we're in
God,
business
Jared,
now.
have you what number Super Bowl are we about to go into?
Oh no, that I couldn't tell you.
Civil.
And L's are 50. X's are 10s and V's are 5s.
I know that. We have the heavy construction suit, the Mark 25, the high velocity suit, the Mark extra large.
40.
I know that was 40. I know that was 40.
Large.
I knew that was 40. I just wanted to say extra large. I knew that. The first Super Bowl I ever watched was Super Bowl 40. I remember it.
Oh, so we do know those numbers.
We do. It was just funnier to say the Mark extra large.
Large. You know Tony made that joke too.
Oh, you know it.
Was it an extra large one?
It was the high velocity suit, so I'm assuming not. I'm assuming that was one of the more
Naya's having a
dexterous
fake
ones.
asthma attack right now.
I love when our dog pretends to be allergic to itself.
Mm-hmm.
Disaster rescue suit, 35. Artillery level RT suit, Mark 12. And then the skeleton suit, Mark 41. So
She looked back
those
at
are
me
all of the
to see
suits
if
I think we get a good look at, or at least those are the ones that are in this children's book.
the dog looked back at me to see if I was watching her have her fake asthma attack, and as soon as she saw that I wasn't watching her, she stopped having it.
Naturally. But yeah, all the suits
I
are
can't
great.
explain this, dude. Like,
All the suits are great, and obviously, Travis, like you said, we get the bleeding edge armor in Infinity War, and we actually get the Hulkbuster in Age of Ultron, which
Right.
God,
They were like, and well, also I think we at this point like fully move into the realm of like the MCU's its own animal.
yeah,
We don't have to adapt anything anymore. Like
this
the
is where we're starting to cross that threshold. Yeah,
right, like it's a joke. Like we're gonna use the names as recognition, but to call Age of Ultron or Civil War or Infinity War any kind of adaptation is just inaccurate.
very loose adaptations. It's very like they're
we took
like
concepts of the concept of 45 different comic books, and
Right.
we threw them all on the wall. We picked our favorite parts about it. We found out what would work in context of what we already did, and that's where we're going.
But even then, like stuff like Age of Ultron, like that was a comic event that happened 3 years before before the movie, like maybe even a year or two before the movie, and that was like time travel with Wolverine and shit. Like,
Well, I mean, Ultron's kind of like Ultron has been Ultron, and his kind of basis has always been his basis since the invention of the internet.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like modern day Ultron has done like the internet shit, but like Ultron goes back to the fucking 60s.
Well,
Like
of
I'm,
course,
I'm
yeah,
saying that I feel like Civil War is the only time they called a shot with a this is a story with a name.
Yeah,
Until now, where they're like we're doing Secret Wars,
yeah, yeah,
like aside from that, like there wasn't a story called Infinity War. There's the Infinity Gauntlet story.
yeah.
I don't, and like, but that's just Thanos is gathering up stones and he's gonna snap. But like the individual comics, like that with like that, it was like, oh, there's an idea from this, an idea from that, like you guys were saying. It's like, let's just throw it in there.
Yeah, like you get the one famous comic panel we're gonna recreate in live action, maybe, and then
Sort of. Yeah.
yeah, everything else is completely original, which is fine.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna complain that Civil War is nothing like the book. Um,
I, I love that movie. There is a part of my brain that is greedy in a way that almost goes,
do it
I
again.
wish that almost goes, I wish they could have waited until
Held it.
after everything had come home, like obviously except for Spider-Man, but we still got Spider-Man in that one. But like, waiting for like Reed to be there and for the mutants to have their say.
yeah.
Like there is a part of me that wishes like Civil War could have been as big as it was in the comics. That's not the conversation for this episode. We'll talk about it when we get there. But that's me being greedy because that is one of my
But
top MCU movies anyway. But
yeah, this would also then go on to plague internet talk about the MCU for the rest of time. Do you remember, Jared, the movie trivia, the Marvel trivia bar crawl we did, where it was all MCU Marvel specifically was the
yes,
trivia, and there was a question about who made Ultron, and every single answer had Hank Pym in it, meaning every single answer was wrong to the MCU.
yes, I do remember. I remember vividly because you and I got very mad.
And this was pre Chat GPT.
This was pre ChatGPT. Every question was about the MCU, and then it was like, okay, who created Ultron in the comics? The comics, the comics, the ultimate, the comics. Like,
Yeah, it was like Hank Pym, Nick Fury, Tony Stark. Hank Pym, Tony Stark. I forget. They all had some combination of Hank Pym and Tony, or Hank Pym and Nick Fury.
Wow.
yeah. And the correct air quotes answer was Hank Pym, Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, and it was like Pym wasn't even introduced yet in the MCU, but whatever. But anyway, is that all we got for Iron Man 3, guys?
That's all I
You know,
got.
it's not the best movie of all time, but it is
But it was
close.
fun. It was fun.
But it's close. All right, I actually have to pull up the list because I don't remember the order this shit comes out in because I remember everything for Phase 1 in order, but not this. Okay, so next week on the road to Doomsday, tune in for Thor the Dark World as Taylor and I unpack just how far Loki Mania can take us.
Pretty far if you're me.
Have I told you the last time I tried to watch Thor the Dark World?
You can watch it again with that.
No, regale us as we prepare for our own journey to Niflheim.
Friends of the show, the Squires, were not super into the MCU. But when Thor Ragnarok came out on physical release, we're like, we heard Thor Ragnarok would be our shit. And I was like,
100%.
y'all are 100% right. We're going to watch Thor Ragnarok. And they were like, we've never watched the Thor movie.
Gotta watch all the 4 movies first, right? Gotta go.
Well, they insisted. I was like, realistically, you don't need to. I was like, it's not necessary. And they were like, but we want to. And I'm like, cool, we'll make a day of it. This will be sweet. So we rented all 3 of them from Family Video. May she rest in peace. And we watched the first Thor. I stand by the first Thor being fun.
Taylor, did you just do the signs of the cross for Family Video?
My dad is Catholic, so sometimes I will identify as he was baptized Catholic, but not buried that way. So he's been Catholic.
Yeah.
Every time Travis and I have done the make Family Video rest in peace, we do like a little salute. And I'm looking at Travis on the monitor and like looking at the camera as well. And out of the corner of my eye, I see Taylor. I'm like, never seen this woman do this. What in the fuck just happened? Anyway, continue.
It's a new thing I just unlocked.
Cal
New
Kestis
power
has restored
unlocked.
his connection to the Force. He now knows the sign of the cross.
We watched Thor 1. I really like Thor 1. I think it's really fun.
Agreed.
Famously love Thor 1 here. Let me tell you.
Hell yeah. We start Thor the Dark World. And like, at this point we're on hour 4, 3.5 to 4 of movie. We've all eaten a decent bit of pizza. None of us can stay awake. And there's a moment, maybe it's before, spoilers for Thor the Dark World. It's before he breaks Loki out. I think Loki's had the fun, like, morphs into Chris Evans moment.
That's when he already broke him out, though.
Yeah, okay, maybe it was like right after. It's like not far enough to see the important stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but we were far enough. And
They
they were
hadn't
like,
escaped Asgard. Like Loki's out of his cell, but they're
right.
not out of
Yeah.
They're just
Asgard.
fucking around.
And they both look at me and they go, how much of this do we need? And I'm like, Loki's gonna pretend to die.
Again.
And Thor's gonna be stuck again. And that's that. And they were like, cool, we're moving on.
That's funny as hell.
You
That's
guys should have
funny
just
as hell.
fast forwarded through all of it for Loki. Like what me and my mom did for the Super Bowl commercials one year. Fast
No.
forwarded through the game, only watches the commercials.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, we'll be back with Thor the Dark World here soon. But
With Loki Mania.
Loki Mania. Travis, where can the lovely people find you? Or actually, wait, you have to do the thing. Taylor, where can the lovely people find you?
Oh, yeah.
They can now find me on Blue Sky at Quicksilver Girl GRRL. And nowhere else. He made me go to Blue Sky.
I said you
I've had to
should go to
start.
Blue Sky.
He
I
like
have.
forced me almost like I would say at gunpoint,
Mhm.
but we don't own any guns.
I do open Blue Sky now because it's what Robert posts to. So when there are things happening and I want an actual reporter's take on it, I have to open Blue Sky. There was a moment where, like, I made a Blue Sky. I followed a bunch of people that had left the platform, left Twitter, and then at some point I'm scrolling Twitter. I'm like, I haven't seen a ton of people post in a while, and then I think it was when Kirk got shot that like part of my incessant like needs to see all of the live updates was like, why isn't Robert talking about this? And I went to Blue Sky. I was like, oh, he's doing it on Blue Sky. You can find me shaving to stay in the military and invading Venezuela. Actually, sorry, we're currently invading Portland.
Yeah.
But
Got
that's
it.
just
Priority.
that's just so we have that's just so we have the port to then get on the boat to go down to Venezuela.
Mhm.
See,
The
Travis,
fourth land. Get it?
Yeah.
I was about to say Travis is supposed to go to Portland to get a Robert Evans autograph, and then I remembered he already has one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Jared,
yes.
where?
You guys can find me conscientiously objecting with my luscious fucking beard, pull up boy, over at Dark Jedi 2552 on Instagram and Blue Sky. And you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, wherever you get podcasts, and on our website, the nerdacademypodcast.com, where if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon. Speaking of our patrons, $5 patrons get early access to every single episode of The Road to Doomsday, as well as exclusive access to our audio commentary series, where you can join us to watch every single movie. My hiccups are going apeshit during this outro here. But if you were subscribed to the Patreon, you would have gotten to see me in my holiday apparel on October 1st, broken a cardinal rule of mine. But because this is coming out so late at the end of November for the main feed, think about how much of The Road to Doomsday has already come out on Patreon by the time you're seeing this.
Yep.
We might even hit our goal of finishing the Infinity Saga before Christmas.
It's possible. I am dressed as a advertisement from the movie, as always.
Yes. Oh, that is one thing I wanted to bring up.
Budweiser, King of Beers. Oh, sorry, that wasn't it.
No, shouts out
Got it.
Spencer and Joel, who are not on this episode. I almost said not here, implying that they had died.
R.I.P. Joel and Spencer. They're not dead, but they are just not here.
They're just not on this episode. I don't remember which one of them showed it to me back in junior high, but there was this very funny, almost YouTube poopy edit of Trevor Slattery just doing the I'm an actor, bloody hell,
Yeah,
actor,
Trevor
bloody hell,
does
bloody
so
hell.
many numbers for me in this film. I absolutely love Ben Kingsley. I think he's a phenomenal actor. I think he was pulling Jared. He was doing gangbangers throughout this entire movie.
He was
okay?
doing absolute gangbangers.
Gangbangers. Okay, he was crushing this film, and then he had a sad little voice, a sad little British voice, and he was just trying to drink his beers and watch his football.
Also, on the topic of the Mandarin, because we didn't talk much about him specifically, it was mostly like thematic stuff and Tony stuff. I said in the audio commentary, I remember as again when this movie came out, I loved doing the Mandarin voice. Just that, Mr. President, are you ready for another lesson? I don't know why I love that fucking voice he does, but it is
for another lesson.
That's
You'll
really
never
good.
see me coming. It's like it scratches my brain. Travis, yours was incredible. Like I love the fucking Mandarin voice that Ben Kingsley does. I low key think that was 90% of why I didn't like the Mandarin bait and switch at the time. Was that I just
You were
loved
so
that
into
voice.
it.
I was
really
so
like Ben
into it.
Kingsley.
I was so into it.
I remember like not under because again the things were backsliding.
I know.
The thing was just like, oh, he doesn't have magic, and I was like, yeah, but he's still like is
Badass.
menacing as hell. And then I saw the movie, and I'm like, no, this is too funny. This is fine. This is incredible.
It's great. It's great, and I'm excited to see Trevor again as time goes on in the MCU. Mr. President, I love that. Like, he seems like a good man. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to shoot him in the face. And it's the matter of factness.
I want to know if Trevor actually killed that guy.
He says the gun had blanks in it, so I think they just recover that secretary eventually.
That or maybe he thinks it's all special effects.
Man, that is what I was thinking. I was thinking that he would not, like, he would be thinking that this is fake.
Yeah.
But they actually have to kill the guy.
You're like, wow, the blood effects here are real good. Anyway,
yeah.
There's no way Trevor was in enough of a like coked out fucking stupor to think that was just a really good squib.
There are plenty of things that he could be on right now that would make him think that was a good shot.
People think Trump didn't get shot. People think Charlie Kirk didn't get shot.
I guess. But yeah, anyway, you can see this months early if you subscribe at the $5 tier. Again, or exclusive access to the audio commentary tracks as well. Also, speaking of our patrons, thank you to Brendan Marr from Patroners They Were Not, to Paco, and to Ray Clausen. So thank you also very much for supporting us at the $10 tier. We greatly appreciate your support. And anybody who joins between us recording this and when it comes out in the main feed, or when you become a patron, I don't know, because I am limited to what I know and when I know it. These episodes being banked up so far in advance make it difficult for me to shout people out in a timely manner. So yeah. Anyway, we will be back again next week for Thor: The Dark World. But until then, thank you so very much for joining us, and we will see you on the next steps on the road to Doomsday.
Stop! Move away!